Right, time to bring in my special guest to discuss about this significant decision by the government. Joining me is Union Communications, Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw. Mr. Minister, welcome to DD India. Good to see you on Newsnight. Now, this afternoon you made a very elaborate presentation. Some of it was self-explanatory, but some issues were very complex for the ordinary person to understand. Would you, for the benefit of viewers tuning in from India and abroad, now DD India is available across the world, could you give us the salient features of this ambitious roadmap that you've drawn for India becoming a global hub for semiconductors?
Thank you. So, as we all know, electronics is today all pervasive.
True.
Everything that we use today has electronics inbuilt in it. And behind electronics, the major component is semiconductors. So semiconductors goes into the chips, go into practically everything that we use today. In automobiles, in railway engines, in small appliances in our home, everything. So today, India is importing close to 1 lakh crore worth semiconductors. And on the other hand, we have already developed a very good electronics manufacturing ecosystem. Today, India's electronics manufacturing ecosystem is worth $75 billion. So, to feed this electronics manufacturing ecosystem and to ensure that India is self-reliant, Atmanirbhar in semiconductor, a very comprehensive package has been approved by Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji. This package basically deals with the entire ecosystem of semiconductors, which is silicon semiconductor fab, display, compound semiconductors which go into automobiles, in power electronics, in telecom, all these sectors, for design system, for creating a talent. So a very comprehensive package has been approved.
Right. Mr. Minister, the question arises, why was the need felt for the government to come up with this policy in the first place? And a part of the answer may be contained in the statement put out by the ministry. If I can just quote from this document there, it says, in the current geopolitical scenario, trusted sources of semiconductors and displays hold strategic importance and are key to the security of critical information infrastructure. The approved program will propel innovation and build domestic capacities to ensure the digital sovereignty of India. Your thoughts, Mr. Minister?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So today there are 3 or 4 countries which dominate semiconductor manufacturing. Whole world is dependent upon them.
Right.
So it's very important for us in an economy which is today $3 trillion plus. We have to have our own semiconductor ecosystem built in. So I'll explain it with a very nice way.
Sure.
This is a wafer. This is actually a silicon wafer. If you look at it, it has very finely etched, very minute chips printed on it.
Right.
So these are like a nanometer kind of thing. Nanometer is like if we take the diameter of a hair, these chips are 1,000 times smaller than that, finer than that, right? Now then they are carefully taken out and a chip is created, then a body is created, body is built over the chip.
Right.
Body will provide the entire cooling system, the mass, the legs, what kind of heating system, power system is available inside it, right? Then this thing is put inside a circuit. So when the chip is put in a circuit, then the circuit goes into every device that we use, whether it is a mobile phone or it is a jet engine or it is a railway engine power electronics. So that is the kind of complexity which is there. So to build a system of this kind of complexity, we have come up with a very comprehensive package, and this comprehensive package will lead us towards growing our electronics and telecom manufacturing industry in a very big way.
Right. Which brings me to my next question to you, Mr. Minister. How does India propose to get there? Now, I ask you this because in the statement released by the ministry, it says Semiconductors and display manufacturing is very complex and technology intensive sector involving huge capital investments, high risk, long gestation and payback periods, and rapid changes in technology which require significant and sustained investments. So how do you propose to get India to becoming a hub in the near future?
So India has one very major advantage. Our human resources, our talent, our engineers, our scientists.
Right.
Close to 20,000 engineers are estimated to be working on semiconductor design in our country. That is first item. Second, we have created a very robust 20-year plan ahead. So anybody who wants to come in this industry will today get a very clear roadmap and a very good commitment, very transparent commitment from the government.
Right.
Number three, we have also taken a major step. It is called C2S, chip to startup. Chip to startup, right? So in this initiative, 85,000 engineers, BTech, MTech, PhD level, would be developed over the next 10 years for the semiconductor industry. Now, once we have proper design ecosystem, clear government commitment, and a talent pool available, that is how the entire semiconductor industry will develop in the country.
Mr. Minister, you yourself are an alumnus of the IIT. Now, when you talk about engineers, Indians, technocrats are spread all over the world. They are the CEOs of big companies across the world, including in the US. Is there any way you can incentivize them to collaborate within India, number one? And number two, is there any incentive for Indian or foreign collaboration? Like, I'm given to understand that there are many companies in the Indo-Pacific region, for instance, in Taiwan for that matter, or in the US, who could be willing to collaborate on this going forward. So your thoughts on what you call as the DLI, the design linked incentive as well?
Very good point. Design link incentive. So your question has three parts. I'll answer all the three parts.
Sure.
First part is, are the Indian engineers willing to come? Absolutely yes. There is a huge respect for our talent all over the world. And today in the semiconductor industry, our estimate is close to some 16 to 20% of the engineers working all over the world are of Indian origin.
Right.
So that is the kind of talent which is there. And all our interactions indicate that many of these engineers who have tremendous wealth of experience behind them are very much willing to come and contribute to the growth story that Prime Minister Modi ji's vision is taking our India to. So that Atmanirbhar Bharat vision is attracting a lot of talented people. That was first part of the question.
Sure.
Second part of the question is whether global companies are willing to collaborate, bring the technology to India. As you rightly said, there are only a handful of companies in the world who understand this technology fully, the entire landscape. So for this, as I said earlier, the comprehensive package that we have provided, the design ecosystem, the talent pool, a clear commitment for 20 years, very transparent way of selection, absolutely focused way of execution, full support on the infrastructure in terms of water supply, electricity, ultra pure water, providing the entire support system which is required to develop this new ecosystem is there, is very clearly there, and our extensive interaction with the stakeholders has shown that people are very welcoming, very happy with this approach, very transparent approach. Prime Minister Modi ji's approach is very transparent. So that is the way we are approaching this whole subject. So we see very good traction from the global majors, but we have not stopped there. The third part of your question is very important. We have also kept a large chunk of this package for small and medium industry. Now, where does the small and medium industry fit into this very complex, highly technical thing?
Right.
So the large fabs are silicon fabs and display fabs. Below that, there is a whole bunch of fabs which are called compound semiconductors. This is the fab ecosystem in which smaller players can participate. So we have kept a scope for very large number of small players, even up to 40 or 50 players can today participate the way we have structured this scheme. And we are very happy, more the merrier. Even if that number goes to 100, we'll be very happy to support each one of them. First. Second, the packaging industry. As I explained, once the chip is taken out of this wafer, then the packaging has to be done. So this packaging industry can be done by smaller players. And it's highly remunerative, very skill-oriented industry. So that industry can really develop a great potential for employment generation. And third is the design startups.
Right.
We will be creating about 100 design startups. Out of that, we feel that at least 5 or 6 will become global champions. So that is the thought process, very comprehensive, very encompassing the entire value chain of semiconductors.
Right. And finally, Mr. Minister, you also spoke about the India Semiconductor mission. Now, I am given to understand that this mission will be led by global experts in the semiconductor and display industry. Now, have you zeroed in on potential collaborators at home or abroad?
See, this is the complexity of this technology can be handled best by good experts. As you know, every subject will have its own complexities, and this is a very, very complex subject. So that's why Prime Minister very clearly gave us the vision that this entire program must not be run in the conventional way. As PM Sahab always says, for the 21st century, we have to adopt a 21st century mindset.
True.
We cannot work in 21st century with a 20th century mindset.
True.
So this is part of that vision.
Right. On that note, may I thank you, Mr. Minister, for making time for us here at DD India. Appreciate it. Thank you.